Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Ito po ulit ang inyong lingkod, Cheryl Villaluz, resident psychologist. Now, in celebration of Women's Month, pag-uusapan po natin ngayon ang dalawang mahalagang issues. First, we'll talk about parenting, and another one, we'll talk about work-life balance. Kaya, wag na po nating patagalin. Pag-usapan na po natin ito. Simulan na po natin. So, first up, let's talk about raising up a kid, how to keep up with the times. So, what is the secret to a successful parenting? Meron nga ba?
According to Ewan McGregor, the thing about parenting
Is that there aren't any. That's what makes it difficult. Baka para sa ilang mga magulang na nakikinig ngayon, this is quite disappointing. At baka para sa iba naman, sabihin nyo, oo, totoo yan. Dahil mabilis na babago ngayon ng panahon, baka nga talagang mahirap na magpalaki ng mga bata. No, meaning, makaka-relate ang marami sa atin dito. Tingnan natin kung paano natin pwedeng masang-ayunan o hindi itong sinabing ito na wala daw palang secret ang pagiging magulang. About 2/3 of parents say that parenting is harder today than 20 years ago, with technologies like social media and smartphones being cited as a reason. Some of the top reasons why parenting is harder today are cited here. Sabi nila, it's hard to be a parent nowadays due to technology in general, and that includes social media. Nandyan din yung sinasabi nila na issue ng changing morals. Lalo na ngayon, talagang kitang-kita natin. There is violence, there is drug abuse, there is teenage pregnancy, so to speak. Nandyan din yung financial reasons, meaning both parents need to work para matugunan yung mga pangangailangan ng pamilya. Kaya mas challenging na mag-alaga ng mga bata kasabay ng pagtatrabaho. Nandiyan din ang issue na ang mga bata daw ngayon sadyang hindi na gumagalang sa otoridad. Napaka-entitled na daw ng mga bata ngayon. Pinaglalaban na talaga nila kung ano yung gusto nila. But on the other hand, ang mga magulang naman daw ngayon masyadong judgmental. Matataas ang expectations at kukunti na talaga ang panahon para sa anak o para nga sa buong pamilya. Now, let's see. Ano nga ba yung comment ng ibang mga parents na masasabi natin mukhang nahihirapan sa nagbabagong panahon? Isang babae, age 49, sabi niya dito, "We have so much technology today that was not available 20 years ago. Social media, reality TV shows, video games have really changed our society and how we interact with each other." Baka totoo yun. A man, age 46, sabi naman niya, "There's too much technology. Kids are addicted. They don't go outside. They don't hang out with friends. They are getting overweight due to lack of exercise and poor diet." Relate much yung mga tatay dito, Yan ang sinasabi nila sa mga anak nila. A woman, age 48, sabi naman niya, "Kids are doing more drugs and drinking, less religion in people's lives." A man, 45 years old, he says that so much access to information with electronic devices. Information overload gives kids too many ideas and can adversely affect their behavior. Sabi din dito ng isang lalaki around 36 years old, salaries have not kept up with cost of living increases. And so most families are struggling to make ends meet and raise a child at the same time. Technology has also added new challenges. Isang babae, around 31 years old, sabi niya dito, "More families 20 years ago had two parents. And often, one parent could care for the children full-time. Now, many families are single parents or often both parents feel the need to work in order to make ends meet. the work-family time balance can be stressful now. So, baka yung iba sa atin sasang-ayon doon sa ganong mga hamon. Kaya nga, dahil iba-iba yung na-experience natin, iba-ibang ugali ng mga anak natin, kinakailangan magkaroon tayo ng tinatawag na diskarte. And so, we make use of a specific or combined parenting style. But we have to understand ano man daw yung parenting style na pinapakita natin sa mga anak natin, it impacts their lives in one way or the other. Pero ang tanong, ano nga ba ang parenting style na kalimitan mong ginagamit? So, I have here a set of questions. Okay? May iba-iba tayong sitwasyon and I would like you, mga parents, with all honesty, wala naman pong makakakita ng mga sagot nyo, I want you to analyze ano ba kalimitan yung applicable sa'yo sa ganong mga sitwasyon. Kalimitan ba you are A, you are B, you are C, o you are D? So, sa mga parents po na nakikinig dito, baka pwede natin gamitin ang ating cellphone, gamitin natin ang notebook and pen. Tingnan natin kung ano ba kalimitan yung talagang mag-describe sa atin. Okay? Tingnan po natin. Ito muna. Letter A. I take my child's wishes into consideration before I ask him or her to do something. Ikaw kaya yan? Or are you mostly B? I feel the need to point out my child's past behavior problem to make sure he or she will never do it again. Letter C. I find it difficult to discipline my child. Or are you letter D? I act emotionally distant from my child. So that's the first set of situation. Are you A, B, C, or D? Let's have the next one. Ikaw kaya ay A. I am responsive to my child's feelings and needs. Or maybe you're a B. I remind my child that I am his or her parent. Or baka C ka. I ignore my child's bad behavior. Letter D. I limit interactions with my child because I am too overwhelmed with my problems. So are you A, B, C, or D? Number 3. Are you mostly A? I treat my child as an equal member of the family. Or are you B? I use criticisms to make my child improve his or her behavior. Letter C. I give in to my child when he or she causes commotion about something. Or are you letter D? I set few or no expectations or demands for my child's behavior. Are you A, B, C, or D? Number 4. Are you letter A? I explain the reason behind my expectations. Or are you letter B? I punish my child by withholding emotional expressions such as kisses and cuddles. Or are you letter C? I spoil my child. Or maybe letter D, I provide little or no parental supervision to my child. So A, B, C, or D. And lastly, number 5, are you letter A? I respect my child's opinion and encourage him or her to express them. Or are you letter B? I spank my child when I don't like what he or she does or say. Are you letter C? I let my child do chores whenever they only feel like it. Or letter D, I show little warmth, love, and affection toward my children. Now, which letter mostly describe you? Mas marami ba ang A, Mas marami ba ang B, C, or D? If you are mostly A, it means that you practice authoritative parenting style. If you are mostly B, that's authoritarian parenting style. Letter C is permissive parenting style. And letter D, that is uninvolved parenting style. Now, how do this parenting style affect our children's self-image, emotions, social skills, and academics? So, if you are a parent who uses authoritative parenting style, ano epekto nun sa self-image ng mga anak natin? Sabi dito, high self-esteem and assertive. Sa emotion naman, they trust their feelings, regulate well, and they are self-controlled. Sa social skills, kapag authoritative ang parenting style ng magulang, they are socially responsible, less peer pressure, they get along, and they are empathetic. Whereas for academics, they learn well, they are more confident, high achievement. What about permissive parenting style? Paano kaya nakakaapekto sa self-image ng mga anak natin? Sabi dito, high self-esteem, self-confident, less responsible, and impulsive. Sa emotions naman, irregular voice of feelings. Then social skills, they have trouble keeping friends. And for academics, low interest in school. What about if you are practicing authoritarian parenting style? Sa self-image, they have low self-esteem. Emotions, they don't trust feelings. They have weak behavior. Sa social skills naman, they don't get along. They have poor social skills. And sa academics, hard to concentrate, need achievement. So, ang uninvolved parenting style naman, it normally results to low self-esteem, little confidence, they hate themselves or they hate others. For emotions, they hide feelings, irregular feelings, or they even avoid acknowledging their own feelings. For social skills, they are withdrawn, disrespectful, and distrustful. And lastly, yung uninvolved daw na parenting style, pagdating sa academics ng mga bata, children normally perform poorly and they are most of the time on their own. Now, what are the signs of bad parenting? Kasi nakita natin, iba-iba kasi yung parenting style. So, that means to say, baka mayroon talaga na medyo hindi kaaya-aya na paraan ng pagpapalaki sa mga anak. Yan na natin. Baka mamaya, meron na tayong nakikita na mga red flags as far as our parenting style is concerned. So, the first sign of bad parenting is that the child is reprimanded even if he speak the truth. Kaya, hindi makakatulong sa bata kung pagagalitan pa din natin siya o sisigawan natin kahit inamin na niya ang pagkakamali niya. Dito kasi, hindi natin napapahalagahan na nilakasan niya yung loob niya at naging matapang siya na aminin na nagkamali siya. Now, another sign of bad parenting, you scold, you punish, and you hit the child in front of everyone. Baka nakakita na din kayo ng ganitong eksena. Minsan kahit sa harap ng mga kapatid, sa harapan ng mga lola, kahit sa harapan ng mga kapitbahay, nahahataw, nakukurot, o napapagalitan yung mga bata. Now, we have to remember, kahit mga bata, nakakaramdam din sila ng pagkapahiya. Napaka-sensitive ng utak ng mga bata, kaya tumatatak sa kanila kapag pinapahiya natin sila sa harapan ng ibang tao. Another sign of bad parenting, we have more advice, less encouragement. Ayan. Baka minsan, sakit natin to bilang mga magulang. Nakasanayan na natin na diktahan ang mga anak natin sa kung paano nila dapat gawin ang mga bagay. Dapat maga kang gumising para tumaas yung grade mo. Yan yung minsan na naririnig natin sinasabi ng mga magulang sa mga anak nila. Pero hindi kaya mas maganda kung ang sasabihin natin sa kanila, "Anak, alam ko na matalino ka. Tutulungan kita na magising na maaga para hindi ka na malate sa klase mo, para mas tumaas yung grades mo." You know, it means a lot if we choose the right words to say, at lalo na mas pakikinggan nila kapag sinasabi natin ang mga yan in a nice tone. Pagka kasi medyo mukhang nagdidikta na tayo, mas lalo nila na hindi tatanggapin yung mga pangaral natin. Now, another sign of bad parenting, not displaying adequate affection. Baka iniisip natin, ang tigas ng ulo ng anak natin, hindi sumusunod sa sinasabi natin. O baka nga, nakatatak sa isip natin na nagre-rebelde ang mga anak natin. Pwede siguro nating tanungin ang sarili natin. Hindi kaya ginagawa niya yun kasi nagpapapansin siya sa akin? Kasi para sa kanya, wala o kulang yung emotional connection natin. Your child is probably longing for that warmth affection from the parent. Kaya dapat, sensitive tayo sa mga actions ng anak natin. Another sign of bad parenting, not supportive when he needs you the most. Totoo naman, gusto natin na tumayo ang mga anak natin sa sarili nilang paa. Pero bago yun, importante muna natin na maiparamdam sa kanila na nandyan tayo pag kailangan nila tayo. Baka examination week ng mga anak natin and they need our support. Baka nabubuli na pala yung mga anak natin. They need to feel that they can rely on us when such things happen. Pero ang nangyayari, we focus too much on our work. We focus too much on some of our commitments, which makes our children feel that they are neglected. Isa pa. Another sign of bad parenting, there is always comparison to someone else. Remember that no two children are exactly the same. Even if they have the same set of parents, magkaiba pa rin ang ugali ng mga anak natin. That's why comparing our children among themselves, or worse, comparing them with other kids, oftentimes do more harm than good. Another sign of bad parenting, sabi dito, never proud of their achievements. Sabi nila, wag daw po tayong magpakalasing. Magtitira daw po tayo ng pang-uwi. Same is true with our workload. Wag po natin sagarin ang lakas natin sa trabaho natin na pag-uwi, wala na tayong lakas para ma-recognize yung kahit na maliliit na mga achievements ng anak natin. Tandaan, napakalaking bagay para sa mga anak natin na na-appreciate natin kahit maliliit na mga achievements nila. Another sign of bad parenting, always having a criticizing tone. Baka minsan, pakiramdam ng anak natin na wala na silang ginawang tama. If this is the case, maybe we need to think about how we are approaching them and how we talk to them. Minsan, dahil sa sobrang pagod natin, nagiging mas madali na magsumit na lang sa mga anak. It's not healthy if we see everything our child does in a negative light. And it's not healthy if we are so critical of our children na para bang denumero dapat yung ikilos nila para hindi natin sila mapagalitan. Another sign of bad parenting here, make no effort in understanding and respecting their feelings. Let's not underestimate our children's feelings as if it does not matter. Importante sa pamilya ang respeto at paggalang. And that includes respecting and considering our children's opinion and their feelings as well. Kasi ang mga anak natin, kahit na mga bata sila, parte sila ng pamilya. And they too deserve respect. Another sign of bad parenting here, not showing the right way of doing things. Tama naman na ipapaliwanag natin sa mga anak natin kung paano gawin ng tama yung mga bagay. Pero tandaan natin, children also learn through imitation. That's why investing more in action than words is also important. What else? Sabi dito, it's a bad parenting if we are setting poor example. Sabi nga, ang utak ng bata parang sponge. And children learn habits, whether good or bad, from their parents. Alam natin, marami nang napapanood o nakikita ang mga bata sa paligid nila, sa social media, sa online games. Pero, sakaling may gawing mali ang mga anak natin, siguro pwede rin tayong mag-reflect. Pwede rin siguro nating tanungin ang sarili natin, posible kaya na natutunan niya sa akin yung mga maling actions or behavior na yon? Next one. It's a sign of bad parenting if the child is never offered a choice. Most of the time, lalo na kung maliliit pa yung mga anak, parents decide everything for their children. Kung saan sila mag-aaral, kung anong klaseng damit ang isusuot, pati nga kung anong hair clip yung ipapagamit. Mga magulang yung kalimitang nag-decide. At dahil nasanay na tayo na gawin to para sa kanila, nagiging autopilot na tayo na magdesisyon para sa mga anak natin, to the point of not giving them any choice. What else? Help solve even the smallest problems. Sabi natin kanina, it's important for our children to feel that we are there for them. But being quote-unquote there for them should be placed in proper perspective. Being there to solve even their smallest problem might eventually cripple our children. Eventually, the child is unable to do anything on his own. And this might result to low esteem or low self-esteem, low confidence, and sometimes they feel that they are doubting their own effort. Next, another sign of bad parenting, physically intimidating the child. May mga magulang, na nagiging habit na ambaan ng palo yung mga anak nila to the point that they want to physically intimidate their children. Ayaw natin na sumusunod tayo dahil lang sa takot. At ganoon din ang mga anak natin. Remember that cultivating a fear towards you to control your child is also the same as bullying. So ayaw nga natin na nabubuli yung mga anak natin sa school. Yung palang ginagawa natin na masyadong pag-amba sa kanila, ini-intimidate natin sa kanila, it could be a sign of bullying. So, if these are the things that are considered as bad parenting, ano kaya ang epekto nito? We have to remember that the consequences of bad parenting are serious and may have long-term repercussions. Ano kaya ang pwedeng long-term effects nito mga to? Unang epekto ng bad parenting, lack of empathy towards others. Most of the time, children behave with others the way their parents treat them. Now, kung sa bahay, they are treated differently, chances are they will display the same behavior and the same emotion outside the home. Kaya posible na parang wala silang pakialam sa iba. Hindi nila mailagay yung sarili nila sa sitwasyon ng iba kasi pakiramdam nila hindi naman din naiintindihan ng mga magulang nila yung nararamdaman nila. Another effect of bad parenting, they have trouble establishing lasting friendship and relationships. This is possible to happen when parents practice authoritarian parenting style. Authoritarian parenting often makes children rebellious and emotionally withdrawn. Isa pa, studies prove that when parents do not invest emotionally in their children, nagkakaproblema ang mga anak sa pag-regulate ng emotion nila, thereby unable to connect with others. Another bad effect of negative parenting, psychological disorders. It is a proven fact that one of the causes of mental disorders is bad parenting. Nakakaapekto sa mindset ng bata ang maling pagpapalaki. Kaya naman nagkakaroon sila ng maling pananaw sa sarili, maling pananaw sa buhay, maling pananaw sa mundo in general. Kaya talaga ngayon, ang dami nating nababalitaan, nagkakaroon ng depression, nagkakaroon ng anxiety, hindi makakope up sa trauma, na nahihirapan sila na mamuhay ng normal. And lastly, bad parenting results to criminal behavior. Some parents indulge in corporal punishment. Siguro kasi naniniwala sila na yung pananakit sa anak nila, yun yung paraan para masaway yung kakulitan ng mga anak. Kaya lang, pag laging nasasaktan ang mga bata, laging napapalo at hindi na ipapaliwanag kung bakit siya napalo, nagkakaroon ng kaisipan ng bata na pwede pala na manakit ng kapwa. Yun kasi ang nararanasan nila. And as these children step into adulthood, this behavior might transform into inclination to cause deliberate harms to others. Kaya nakakatakot ang pwedeng resulta. Okay, so we talk about bad signs of parenting style. We also discuss the effects of bad parenting. So this time, good news naman tayo. Let's talk about some helpful tips on how to raise a motivated kid. Una, build on your relationship. One way to do this is to show an interest in what is important to your child. Dahil nararamdaman niya na mahalaga siya sa iyo kapag ka talagang nakatuto ka sa pagpapalakas ng responsibilidad o pagpapalakas ng relasyon nyo sa isa't isa. Look for a common ground. Hanapin natin, ano kaya yung interest mo na maaring interest din ng anak mo? Then, pag-usapan nyo yun. Gawin nyo ng magkasama. In building on your relationship, it's also helpful if you make it a habit to ask about their opinion and perspective. That way, you can understand their feelings. Also, it is very important to strengthen your communication with your kids. This entails that aside from tayong mga magulang always doing the talking, we also need to become an active communicator. Lagi ko nga pong sinasabi, kung titingnan natin ang design ng mukha natin, iisa lang ang bibig natin, pero dalawa ang tenga. Meaning, kung mahalaga na nagsasalita tayo, mas mahalaga na nakikinig din naman tayo. In communicating with our kids, we have to be attentive to their body language. We need to maintain eye contact. We need to give affirming nods. Kasi makakatulong yun sa kanila para ma-encourage sila na magkwento. Maybe, when they are talking about their experiences, we could give an encouraging smile. Dito nakikita nila na talagang nagbibigay tayo ng atensyon sa mga kwento nila. So even without using our words, we can communicate by listening, and we can communicate by being serious to some of their body languages. In that way, mararamdaman ng mga anak natin na talagang mahalaga sila sa atin. Next, It's also important to know your child and the world that he or she lives in. Bilang magulang, napakahalaga na kilala natin ang anak natin. Alam natin ang kakayahan niya, alam natin ang kahinaan niya, alam natin kung ano yung limitasyon niya. Kailangan alam natin ano ang interes niya at alam natin kung ano yung ayaw niya. Pero bukod sa pagkilala sa anak natin, mahalaga din na alam natin kung anong paligid na ginagalawan niya. What are the external influences? What are the challenges that they possibly experience? Now, para magawa to, para malaman natin lalo ang ugali ng anak natin, malaman ang mundong ginagalawan niya, we have to be attentive. We have to observe. And we have to talk to our kids. Hindi tayo magtatanong sa kanila kasi ayaw nila na laging tinatanong. Importanteng gagawin natin bilang mga magulang, makipagkwentuhan tayo sa kanila. Maglaan tayo ng oras at kailangan regular yung paglalaan natin ng oras at panahon sa kanila. So, generally, the phrase, know your child and the world that he lives in encapsulates the idea that effective parenting requires a balance of understanding your child's individuality and the external forces shaping their experiences. By maintaining this awareness, parents can better support their children in thriving and becoming well-adjusted individuals. Next one, educate your child about online safety. Definitely, mahirap kalaban ang teknolohiya. That's practically our child's world. Yan ang mundo na ginagalawan nila, technology. That's why the wise thing to do among us parents is to educate our children of online technology's risks as well as benefits. Now, this includes discussing with them what is cyberbullying, what is phishing, even yung tinatawag nila na mga identity theft. Kaya dapat talaga napag-aralan natin yung mga terminologies na yan. By raising awareness, children can recognize risky situations and take appropriate actions to protect themselves. It is also important for the children to set boundaries. Parents need to establish clear rules, clear boundaries regarding internet usage. Kasama na dito yung time limit, anong mga website ang kailangang puntahan, even the guidelines for interacting online. It is also important to monitor our children's online activities. Be aware of the platforms that they are using. Napakahalaga dito ng communication. Open and ongoing communication between parents and children is crucial for addressing any concern related to online safety. Importante na maging komportable ang mga anak natin to discuss with us their online experiences so that we can help them in case they are having some difficulty. By educating our children online, sinasabi natin sa kanila ano yung dapat iwasan. We are actually empowering them. Tinutulungan natin sila to make wise decisions so that they can protect themselves in the digital world. Now, this proactive approach not only promotes responsible internet usage, but also strengthens the parent-child bond through trust and communication. After all, sabi nga nila, navigating the internet is like driving a car. It requires good judgment, not just technological ability. Your guidance as a parent, therefore, is crucial. Remember, kids know more about technology, but we parents know more about life. Another tip, eat meals together regularly. Now, this sounds like a simple tip, pero sa panahon ngayon, parang napakahirap na to gawin. Nagtatrabaho tayo, nag-aaral ang mga anak natin, busy tayo pare-pareho, pero baka may magagawa tayo ng mga adjustment. Baka kailangan mas maaga pang gumising para lahat tayo makapagsama-sama mag-breakfast. Make it possible na sa gabi talagang sama-sama kayo pagdating ng dinner. Now, why is this important? Research shows that eating as a family benefit our kids the most since it can improve their academic performance, it lowers the rates of depression, it lowers the rate of anxiety, and it lowers the risk for substance abuse. Sabi nga, pagka daw magkakasama na kumakain ng pamilya, it also helps build their resilience and self-esteem. It improves the entire family's physical health and reduces the likelihood of smoking, teenage pregnancy, and even substance abuse. Another tip, set a positive example for your kids. Remember that your kids are constantly observing what you say and do. So set good example for them. They imbibe our values. If they see that we are committed to our personal improvements, for example, malamang magiging ganon din sila. If they are observing that we are hardworking, respectful, responsible, it's more likely that they will develop these qualities as well. So in setting good examples to them, maybe we can consider being generous, being grateful, value of volunteerism, embracing challenges, taking care of our physical and mental health, and of course, apologizing when you made a mistake. Sigurado, magagaya din nila yung ganong mga attitude natin. Another tip, don't compare your kids with others. We don't want to be compared with others. Same is true with our kids. Comparison hurts our kids' self-esteem and can even lead to resentment towards us. Instead, what we can do is to focus on encouraging our kids towards being a better version of themselves. And lastly, don't be afraid to ask for help. Parenting can be exhausting both physically and emotionally. Asking for help allows you to share the responsibilities with your partner, with your family members, with friends who can relieve some of the pressures, and it can prevent burnout. We have to remember that asking for help is a sign of strength and not a sign of weakness. It shows that you're willing to do whatever it takes to provide the best possible environment for your children. So don't hesitate to reach out when you need support or guidance in your parenting journey. So to conclude our discussion on parenting, let me share this quote from Jane Hall. It's important for us parents to always remember that at the end of the day, the most overwhelming key to a child's success is the positive involvement of parents. So, yan ang kwentuhan natin about parenting. Now, moving on, let's have another issue. It's a growing concern for us women, the issue of balancing the demands of both work as well as our personal affairs. That's why it's about timely to talk about work-life balance. So how can we achieve a sense of equilibrium? How can we successfully navigate work and life as modern women? Now, what is work-life balance in the first place? Most people would say that an individual has a sense of work-life balance if that person equally prioritizes the demands of career and personal life. Many people seek work-life balance, but it's not always easy to achieve. Ano kaya yung dahilan? Bakit talagang hirap na hirap tayo What are the reasons that might lead to poor work-life balance? Marami. And some includes the expectations of being always on, time constraint caused by back-to-back meetings all day, the constant distraction of communication technology, as well as open office floor plans, the pervasiveness of work given our constant connectiveness. So these challenges, yung mga sinabi natin na yan, it causes pressure, it causes stress, and even burnout. And this is really stressful because of the following. Increased responsibilities for work, working long hours, hindi lang minsan tayo nagtatrabaho ng 8 to 5. Increased responsibilities at home, as well as having more children. So how can we benefit from achieving work-life balance? Bakit nga ba mahalaga na pag-usapan natin to? Now, these are just some of the benefits of work-life balance. First, work-life balance maintains mental health. Now, if we can equally prioritize the demands of work as well as our personal demand, we can find it easier to manage our negative emotions. And of course, if we know how to manage our negative emotions, we can decide with a clear mindset. Kaya naman, mas lalong napapangalagaan yung ating mental health. What else? How can we benefit from achieving work-life balance? It is also helpful in improving our physical health. If we can successfully maintain work-life balance, it means that we have enough time and energy to engage in activities that promote a healthy lifestyle. Di natin kailangan magpuyat para sa trabaho. Kaya dahil hindi natin kailangan magpuyat, mahimbing ang tulog natin. Nakakapahinga tayo ng tama. May time tayo na mag-workout and we have time to travel or go out with people that we like. Kaya mahalaga para ma-improve hindi lang yung mental health, kundi yung physical health. What else? Work-life balance minimizes work-related stress. Kalimitan, na-stress tayo kapag may napapabayaan na tayo, either trabaho o yung responsibilidad sa bahay. Pero kung may control tayo sa dalawang mahalagang bagay na yon, pwede tayong maging kontento. For example, sa trabaho, we can delegate some of our tasks whenever possible. Kung posible din naman, pwede tayong tumanggi sa mga responsibilidad na talaga namang hindi na natin kakayanin. We can learn how to manage our workload by prioritizing the most important and the most immediate things. Importante din para makaiwas sa stress yung pagbibigay pansin natin sa sarili natin, physical and mental health. Kailangan pakinggan din natin ang katawan natin kapag sinasabi na ng katawan natin na kailangan na nating medyo maginay-ginay. Pagka medyo tumataas na yung blood pressure, medyo nakakaranas na tayo ng anxiety, baka warning sign na yan ng katawan natin na kailangan na rin natin magpahinga. Pagka ganon, baka kailangang ipagpabukas na yung iba nating trabaho. Matulog muna tayo at magpahinga para may sapat na lakas tayo ulit kinabukasan. So what else? Another benefit of work-life balance, it promotes mindfulness. When we say mindfulness, it means that we are present in the moment. Ibig sabihin, conscious ka of what you are doing now. Now, it's always important to achieve a professional and personal balance because it helps you focus on your task at hand. Halimbawa, pwede mong piliin na mag-focus muna sa hobbies mo kapag hindi ka naman nagtatrabaho. So, kung halimbawa nasa travel ka or leisure activity, di ka muna magbubukas ng email, di ka magbubukas ng laptop, di ka muna tatawag o tatanggap ng mga calls galing sa katrabaho mo. So meaning, may enjoy mo kung ano yung ginagawa mo at that point in time. Pagka naman nasa trabaho, pag sinabing being mindful, ang kailangan focus lang natin, trabaho. hindi muna natin iisipin ano ba yung mga naiwan nating mga responsibilidad sa bahay. So that's what we mean when we say work-life balance promotes mindfulness. And the last benefit of work-life balance, it helps in becoming more successful. Meron tayong misconception na magiging successful ka lang kapag sobra ang dedication mo sa trabaho. Sabagay, importante naman talaga to kung ang hinahanap mong growth is growth within the workplace. Pero pag na-achieve mo yung work-life balance, you will focus on success without sacrificing your well-being. Therefore, you become more successful. Okay? So now that we know why it's important to maintain work-life balance, ang isang napakahalagang tanong, how do we achieve it? Okay? Kaya pag-usapan na natin, how can we achieve and how can we establish the so-called WLB or work-life balance? Unang-una, of course, it's important that you plan ahead. Iplano natin kung paano posibleng maharap ng tama yung trabaho, yung paglilibang, yung social obligations, pati yung pag-aalaga natin sa sarili at sa pamilya. Since uso naman ngayon ang multitasking, tignan natin kung kaya natin na mag-multitask. But if multitasking is not really for us, baka talagang kailangan focus muna tayo one at a time. Also, it's important in establishing work-life balance to embrace the way your brain works. Meron tayong mga mental technique para magamit or para hindi tayo ma-distract, para hindi sabay-sabay na maririndi tayo sa kung ano yung stimuli na nasa paligid natin. So once nakafocus tayo, halimbawa tulungan natin yung utak natin na wag munang pansinin yung pwede namang ipagpabukas muna, ibig sabihin hindi tayo ma-overwhelm. So when we are not overwhelmed with the many stimuli in our environment, mababawasan ang stress natin. Another, set blocks of time for different tasks. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, baka kailangan natin i-block muna sa isip yung hindi naman muna kailangan. It's important to designate a time to check and to respond to messages. Time to attend meetings or time to do mental challenging tasks. Meaning, one at a time. Huwag nating pagsabay-sabay. Okay, tapusin muna natin o harapin muna natin yung isa before we move on to the next one. Another important step in achieving and establishing work-life balance, end work at a certain time. Set a time to end work for a day. Trabaho man yan natin, sa bahay man o sa opisina. At pag nag-time off na tayo sa trabaho, kailangan naka-turn off din, pati yung ating work-related devices. So, hindi lang yung isip at katawan yung i-off natin, pati yung mga devices natin para hindi tayo napipilitan to address our work-related concerns. Number 5, enlist technology to help you unplug. Connected to tip number 4, may mga empleyado na bukod yung ginagamit nilang social media account sa trabaho at yung kanilang personal na social media account. Why is that helpful? Importante rin kasi na every now and then, nagmi-media detox tayo. Okay? One day na siguro i-off natin lahat ng ating mga mobile devices, hindi talaga tayo magbubukas ng phone, hindi tayo magbubukas ng Facebook, ng Instagram. Just focus on self-love. Just focus on self-care. Sabi nga, yung media detox time na yon, yun yung sinasabi natin na me time. Napaka-importante na mayroon tayong regular na me time because it's a form of self-love and it's a form of self-care. Another tip, go out for lunch or enjoy lunch with coworker. Now, when you do this, as much as possible, don't talk about work. Choose a place that is relaxing and refreshing. And when you eat, make sure that you savor what you have in your plate. Yung hindi ka magmamadali sa pagkain para talaga ma-absorb ng katawan natin both the food and the moment and experience. Kaya kung di pa natin to nagagawa or kung limited yung time natin to go out with friends or people that we love, baka mas kailangan dagdagan natin yung panahon pa with them. Number 7, take time off. Minsan, iniisip natin, no, since allowed naman tayo mag-overtime tayo kasi nangihinayang tayo sa overtime pay. Pero ang totoo, inaabuso natin ang katawan natin pag ganun. This might be overrated na tip, pero sabi nga, ang Diyos nga, nagpahinga sa ikapitong araw. Kaya tayo din. We deserve to rest. Sa trabaho sa bahay, pwede rin tayo magpahinga. Pwede rin tayo humingi ng tulong sa kasama natin sa bahay. Walang masama na mag-delegate tayo or magtoka-toka ng trabaho natin. Sabi nga, hindi kailangan tapusin mo lahat ng trabaho sa isang araw. Take time off. You need to rest. You deserve that. Number 8, practice mindfulness. When you practice mindfulness technique like meditation or halimbawa yung breathing exercises, you become more in tune with your emotion. You become more conscious of your physical sensation. Kapag nag-focus tayo sa nararamdaman natin, ina-acknowledge natin kung malungkot ba tayo, kung pagod ba tayo, satisfied ba tayo, o masaya tayo. Kapag ka ganon, dahil alam natin at ina-acknowledge natin yung nararamdaman natin, mas nakakagawa tayo ng tamang desisyon. Pag pagod, baka kailangan magpahinga. Pag masaya naman, i-enjoy lang yung ganong feeling. So, magagawa lang natin yan if we are mindful and we are conscious of our own experiences. Number 9, find something you love outside of work to engage in. If you have something that you're excited about doing after work, it will make it easier to disconnect from work. If every now and then, iniisip mo yung ganong klaseng activities. Remember, yung daw mga hobbies natin or the things that we love to do, it boosts our energy and vitality. Kaya wag natin sasabihin na wala tayong time para sa hobbies natin. We have to find time para sa ating mga hobbies. Dahil kapag nagawa natin yung mga gustong-gusto natin gawin, yung mga hobbies natin, for example, travel, sports, going out, mas lalo tayong nare-recharge. At kapag ganon, mas lalo tayong nagiging excited to go back to our work. And lastly, as a tip in establishing work-life balance, communicate with your manager. Communicate with your boss. Talking to your leader can help you prioritize where to spend your time. Baka pwede nating i-consider na kausapin yung boss natin. Sabihin natin na dahil marami talagang trabaho, hindi realistic talaga yung dami ng trabaho sa dami ng mga staff, baka kailangan talaga na mag-hire ng dagdag na staff if possible. Or baka pwede naman nating i-bargain sa boss natin to realign our workload or even the workload of the entire team or staff para lahat pagiging masaya. Kasi hindi sila masyadong pagod to the point na we are really exerting all the efforts na pwedeng mag-lead sa tinatawag nilang burnout. So, meaning, meron tayong pwedeng magawa to establish work-life balance. Kung di natin to ngayon gagawin, kailan pa? So, in closing, tandaan po natin, pasalamat tayo na meron tayong trabaho. But let me remind you, never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. Maraming salamat po sa pakikinig and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.